Hi everyone, this is Jamie Crispin and we are going to talk about some assignments and some content for week 2 of BU 110, Introduction to Business Education. So to get started, let's talk about what will be due this week. You can see at the top of this screen that there are some readings you need to accomplish. 3 and 5 chapters in Mindset, chapters 4 through 6 in New Beginnings, and then various pages in a writer's reference. As usual, you will have a form to complete, so make sure you click on the forum and review the questions, and then your initial response will be due Thursday by midnight, and then 2 peer responses due Sunday at midnight. This week, we're going to be exploring the virtual Collins Library, which is the main library for Baker University. And there are some videos about how to use the library in Moodle. And I want all of you to go and watch those videos before you attempt the library exploration assignment. In addition, I've created an example of the assignment and posted that in Moodle. The assignment does require you to take a screenshot, and so if that's something you're not entirely sure how to do, there are some instructions and some steps of how to do a screenshot. So make sure you take the time to review the library videos, and then of course just email or call me if you have any questions. There is a writing skill activity due, and that'll be due Sunday by midnight. And this week there is a short quiz in Moodle, and that will be done, need to be completed Sunday by midnight, and each student will have 2 attempts at this quiz, and I will take the highest grade. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Here are just a few reminders that I want to let everybody know. Grades, I do keep a running total of your grades in Moodle. When you log into the classroom and look to the left, there's kind of an administrative block, and you want to click on the section that says grades, and you should be able to see all of the assignments, how many points you've earned, and if there's comments, then to go ahead and read the comments. If you want to know where you stand in the class after week 1, you want to look at the points that you've earned and divide that by 100. That will give you a percent, and then of course you can look in the syllabus to see if what percent, what final grade you have. Of course, each week I'm going to ask that you do that. Take your total points earned by the number of points that have been our total, and so that you have an understanding of where you sit at all times in this class. The other thing I'll say is that for those of you who haven't taken an online class before, as an online instructor, I embed the comments into your assignment submission. So you sent me an assignment last week, and I went in and I made comments into it, and I saved it and sent it back to you. So I want all of you to make sure that you go and review that feedback this week and every week, so you understand the points that you're given. Also, too, I just want to say that in week 1, it was very much of an introduction, so you might find that in week 2, it has a little bit different pace. There's more academic content and the depth. We're kind of going a little bit deeper, and so I ask you all to have all those qualities of a growth mindset and, think about moving forward in a very positive light. This week, there are lots of materials about MLA, which is the Modern Language Association. It's the writing format that you will be using here at Baker, and it does get a little complicated, and so the more you use it and the more you become familiar with it, the better and easier it will get. So just know we're going to spend a little bit time in this video talking about it, but you need to go back to Moodle and review all those more information to get a broader understanding of this writing format. And finally, in your forums this week, since we're going to be talking about citing your sources, I highly recommend that all of you try to cite your source in your forum posting this week, and to dig a little bit deeper. Really try to think about everything that you want to say in the forum post, and make sure that your answer everything as completely as you can. Okay, so this next section is just a brief overview of MLA, or Modern Language Association formatting. So again, this isn't the end all be all. Make sure you go back to Moodle and review this, but MLA formatting is very important because as you're writing in an academic setting, you need to be able to cite all your sources. And with MLA, there comes some certain rules about formatting and how to cite your sources. And so moving forward, I want you to always know that when you submit a paper at Baker, that it should be formatted according to MLA and in these ways. And that is 1-inch margins all the way around. Times New Roman is the best font to use, and you also always want to make sure that you're using size 12 font. All of the pages need to be double spaced. For MLA, there is no separate title page. The title will be centered on the first page, and it's going to be in sentence case. So meaning you'll capitalize the first letter of each word. When you're writing your paragraphs out, you indent the first word in the beginning of a paragraph. You don't need to put any extra lines between paragraphs since it's all double spaced. And there are headers that need to go on the pages. And so I'm going to flip to the next slide. So there are 2 different headers that you're going to use in MLA. The first part that we're going to talk about is only for the first page. Only for the first page, you're going to have a left side header, and that's going to include your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date that you're writing it. You can see the example here. On every page, you will always have a right-hand header, and that header is your last name and the corresponding page number. So you could see, if it's page 1, it might say Crispin 1. On page 2, it'll say Crispin 2. And so you don't actually need the letter P or the word page in that header. It's simply your last name and the number. Okay, if you go back to Moodle, if you need help formatting it in Word, there are some step-by-step videos that you can watch to help you format it so that your next paper looks like this. Okay, so as I briefly said in MLA formatting, a lot of it has to do with citing your sources. So you're going to be doing some research, and when you incorporate that research into your paper, whether you're directly quoting it, summarizing, or paraphrasing the information, you have to cite your source. And so there are certain rules about how to do that, and you can see I have some bullets up here. How you cite is that you're going to want to include the author's last name and the page number in a parentheses at the end of the sentence. The period of that sentence actually goes after the citation, after the end of the parentheses. And you can see here I have parentheses Dweck 8 end parenthesis period. Okay. If you're using if you're actually quoting a source word for word, then you must have quotation marks. If you mention the author in the sentence, then you don't actually need to put the author's name in the parentheses. And there are some times when students want to use direct quotes in their page. If a direct quote is over 4 lines, then there's a special formatting way called block formatting that needs to be done. I do caution students that really at this level you shouldn't be using block quotes. It's more important about what you have to say and how you're using that information into your paper. If you want to know more about block quoting or have questions, you want to look in your writer's reference for more information about that. So this is very quick and very brief. Again, look in Moodle for some more information. The other way that you're going to be citing your sources is something called a works cited page. And a works cited page is going to be part of probably almost every paper that you write now in Baker. So if you use a source, then you have to show a listing of all the sources you use to write that paper, and it is called a works cited page. You can see there's an example of how it's formatted here. The title is centered. If you have one source, the page is called work, no S, cited. If you have multiple sources, then it would be works with an S, cited. All entries are double spaced, just like the rest of your paper. If you notice on the example, the second line of all the entries are indented one space or a tab. So you can see that that's a little bit different, and that the works cited entries go alphabetically. I will say that depending on the source you have, there's a different way to format. And so your writer's reference under the MLA tab will be very, very helpful for you. So when you have a source, you must figure out how to format that correctly so that it can appear a certain way on this works cited page. So I know that we just kind of discussed a lot of information. The good news is that there are lots of resources out there in Moodle for you to review. Use your writer's reference. It'll become one of your best friends here. There's also an additional website. It's called OWL. It's an online writing lab, Purdue, and it is a fantastic website and a little bit worded differently than a writer's reference. So you may want to check out that. You can always ask me. And there are some tricks where you could generate a citation by putting in the information. And this www.bibme.org is one of those citation generator websites. So you have to be a little bit careful so that when what information you put in dictates how it's going to come out. But still, it may be something that you wanna take a look at. So, okay, well, that ends this week's lecture. I am really looking forward to seeing all your forum posts. Of course, I'm available by phone or email. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and you will see me next Monday for the next Monday lecture. Take care.